Welcome to K-12 Tech from Lafayette. We are live from ISTE down in Atlanta, Georgia. My name is Joe Willman. I'm the Director of Technology for the Lafayette Catholic School System. I'm here with my two friends.
Matt Brown, the assistant principal or one of three assistant principals at Lafayette Sunnyside Intermediate School.
And I'm Kevin Maxwell, the principal at Sunnyside Intermediate School in Lafayette.
We're really excited to share with you some of the things that we've taken away here this first day. We wanted to go through each, picked a couple of things, and then some of our experiences that we've walked through today and yesterday, last night. So the first thing that I wanted to share with, I had an opportunity to listen to Dr. Ruben Puentedora talk about the SAMR model and how you can utilize the TPAC model inside of the SAMR to start to evaluate how your effectiveness is working inside of the SAMR model. He shared his slides with us, so if you want to go check it out, hippasus.com, the website that you're seeing up on the screen, that will get you to those slides. But I really took away from the fact that making that jump from the A's to the M's or from augmentation to modification, that's a really big jump for some people. And I took away a little bit later in the day, talking to Chris Lehman, sitting in his session, that we as teachers, we identify as a teacher. So if we went out in public and somebody said, "Hi, who are you?" You'd introduce yourself as a teacher almost every single time that you go out. But there's really no other profession that takes so much pride in what they do that they identify with that person. And I think that that's hard when we make that jump from an A to an M, getting above the line in the SAMR model, because that can be scary because we're walking outside of our comfort level, and then as us associating that piece of us as a teacher, having something that might fail is scary when that's something that you identify with yourself when you do that. So that was really kind of a big takeaway that I brought in from another session to this session that I think is valuable. And I think it's, for us as administrators, it's important to realize that when we're asking teachers to do something outside of their comfort level, that they identify with that so personally, that's what is probably the bigger hurdle for everything, is just being accepting that you might not be as good as you are right now the first time that you do it, but you're going to get back to that point. So that was kind of a big takeaway for me when I did that. So
It's a good one.
yeah,
That's good. Really good.
yeah. So Matt,
My big thing came from yesterday's Ignite session. Franz Davis, and I hope I'm saying her name correctly, pretty powerful quote to me was, "Never underestimate the power of a kid who is driven to create." And I thought, wow, and then I immediately thought of questions that we need to start asking ourselves as educators. Are we doing enough to not just create time for these creators, but are we giving them the tools? Are we fostering that development and giving them that okay to take the content that we're mandated by and create with it? You know, it's easy to say, oh, think outside the box, but to a kid, go create something means so much more. And you know, when you find a kid that really wants to create something or is maybe a little leery of creating something, you know, are we pushing them in that right direction? Are we pushing them the right way to go and be a creator and you know, do something that could really be truly amazing?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think that's good, and I think that's kind of been the theme throughout the weekend, is about creating. I think creating for teachers, getting kids to create, and I think that's a great quote.
And creating new friendships.
Yeah,
That's right.
for sure.
And for me, at least for one of them, it had to do with the Ignite also. It was actually just excellent, those 13 speakers. And so the first one that I'm going to talk about is the one that Stacey Hawthorne did. And she said that really hit to what Matt and Joe both said, is magic happens outside of our comfort zone. And I really thought about that. She talked about it, I think, as a teacher and as a student. And I think for that teacher is kind of what Joe was talking a little bit about, is that, you know, that teachers were always taught to kind of be that direct instruction, be in front of the classroom. And so that being outside of that comfort zone is that they're going to have to be a facilitator now with the technology that are in the hands of our kids. And so I feel like that from the teacher standpoint, that's what she was talking about. I know from the student standpoint, it's the kind of the same thing as far as they're thinking of, oh yeah, I have to complete this worksheet, or I have to get this assignment done. But again, kind of what Matt talked about is creating. as far as we want those kids to create, and that's kind of outside their comfort zone for school. And so I feel like, and then when she talked about that, she said that's when the magic happens. That's when the best things in the classroom happen, is when you're outside of that comfort zone. And I think you can see that in all walks of life, not just in the classroom. But it just kind of really hit home to me as far as that shift. That paradigm shift, I think, in the classroom that we're seeing, and that we're going to see with that one-to-one implementation that we're going to have in the fall.
You know what? This is a hard thing that I think most schools that are trying to get to inquiry and PBL and things like that in their school, especially your high-achieving kids, they're just really good at playing school. And what I mean is they're really good at knowing how to get an A. Yeah. You know, you don't really have to critically think, at least when I was in school, and I think that's what we're all trying to change and get away from, but you didn't have to be a critical thinker to get an A. It was jump through these 5 hoops, you get an A. You know, and so I think some of our high-achieving kids, sometimes they're so focused on that grade rather than, you know, what they're learning at the end of the day, because there's a finish line for them with that, and that's at the end of the course with that A. You know, so I think that's a magic happens when they step outside their comfort zone, what you were referring to before, I think.
And actually, we've had our 6 GT teachers in twice this summer, and they're talking about 4 main themes per each 9 weeks, and they're kind of talking about that it's not just a finish line, but there's an overarching theme or 4 themes where they're going to take away from that for the next year. And so I feel like that paradigm shift, and like you said, with GT sometimes that paradigm shift is even tougher because they just are focused on, they have that laser-like focus on just that grade.
Yeah. So, and something I want to throw in there as well is something that kind of came out of, again, this whole weekend is sort of redefining that word fail. Is it okay to fail? Yes, but that word fail has changed in education over the years, and we've got to help. I think we've got to help sort of reprogram the community, our students, our teachers, that failure is an option in the sense of when you're going to go out there and you empower these kids to go be creators. If it doesn't happen on that first try, it's okay. You're going to learn from that, and it's going to get easier, or it's going to get better, or it's going to get improved, or it's going to get just more amazing each time that they try.
Yeah, and I had a great biology teacher when I was in high school, and you know, it was when Apollo 13 was out, and the guy said failure is not an option. You know, and I, you know, it was really, he was a coach, and I really like that quote. But then I think about that quote now, and really, the quote should be failure is an option, like you said. And I think again that's that paradigm shift in the classroom.
Yeah, and you know, I think our next 2 things that both of us are talking about, it just kind of continues on with this theme.
Right.
You know, I was in a leadership session that Chris Lehman of the Science and Leadership Academy in Philadelphia was talking. Now, he didn't make this quote, somebody else did, but I couldn't find where it was, and I just kind of retweeted tweeted what he said.
It's a modified tweet.
Yeah, it's a modified tweet, and I'm attributing the wrong person here, but technology means that I have to let go of the way that we were taught. You know, and I think about that, you know, I think it's crazy when I talk with teachers. I graduated high school in 03, you know, not that, you know, 11 years ago was when I graduated. But my experience in high school was probably exactly the same as you guys' experience in high school, as well as our veteran teachers that have been here for 30, 35 years. Only I had a computer lab with the Encyclopedia Britannica on the computer rather than out in the library, right? So
not in book form?
Yeah, not in book form. But
hardbound?
Yeah,
Wow.
but you know, I think that it's hard for us to step away from everything that we've known to really be trailblazers and step on that path. And it just has gone along with that whole theme. And you know, again, the thing that I think ties all of this together is this piece that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and she is actually another person that was in the Ignite session, and she is Miss, how do you say that?
Magera.
And she talked about professional development, and I think, and Matt and I have talked about this a lot, is to make sure that professional development is really good for the teachers, and that it's definitely something that they're going to take away and get something out of. And so what she talked about is PD being 3 things. It needs to be authentic, and you can see that there, what that slide says, but it's got to be authentic. they got to come back with something from it that they're going to use in the classroom. I think, too, it's got to be differentiated. And she talked about an IEP, and I really like what that stood for, is an individual exploration plan. And so we need to make sure that if we have to split up into groups, if we have to put into different sessions during the PD, that it's differentiated for those teachers, different for maybe the STEM or the humanities or the specialist teachers. And then the other thing is that it's connected, and I like that, is that they need to be connected because they need to work on collaboration. And if you look at that model, it's the same thing that we want in the classroom. We want the kids to have an authentic experience. We want it to be differentiated, and we want those kids to connect and collaborate. And so I think it's just modeling. The PD needs to model what's in the classroom, and she really brought that home in her 5-minute speech.
And you sparked a thought here that PD needs to be continuous. We talk about how we were taught, and it's changed so much. And I think PD has. Professional development used to just be a monthly dose of this, never revisited, but just this, done. You got your shot. There you go. You're out the door. As we head into this ed tech initiative, our PD is going to have to be continuous. We're going to have to really build some background, build on that background as we move forward with this, and that can be done in several different ways. So it's exciting, actually, really exciting.
I think what's big about all of that is it's the same thing we expect for our kids, though. We want our kids to be lifelong learners. We want our kids to continue to always want to learn. And I think, now we've just opened up the doors for learning for ourselves as well. We don't have to be pulled up in our classroom and not share anything anymore, because if that's what you're doing, you're being disconnected from everything. Right. Then,
yeah.
So but that's not a thought process that a lot of people have ever had before, and nor did they have to have that, before. And now that's just something that we have to help foster that, so it's not forced upon people because they see the value in that. And I think that's important as us as administrators and hopefully our lead teachers to help foster all of the other teachers along with that as well.
And foster, but also help redefine. Teaching has been teaching this way for decades.
Yeah.
What's that going to look like a year from now?
Yeah.
2 years from now?
Yeah.
15 years from now? 20? It's going to be ever changing. We have an opportunity now, as on the cusp of this ed tech thing, to help redefine what education is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what's exciting too, and we had the EL Wave e-learning conference in Lafayette, is that some of our veteran teachers at Sunnyside, and they were excited about this. They came back, and sometimes that may not happen. It may just kind of shy away a little bit. And I think coming away from here also is to talk about, they talk about that this is just a tool, not you still have to have that teacher. And so, and it's going to change, but I feel like from our staff at least, it's exciting because we're lifelong learners, mm-hmm. like you just said, Joe, is that's what they see. And I guess I see that in them, is that they're these lifelong learners and they're excited about this change. And if it's going to benefit kids more, if they're going to be able to connect with them in a deeper way, then they're all about it. And so that's just kind of pumps you up and get you ready for the fall.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I think back to the EL Wave conference, and I had, I think I had like 40 teachers there, and it was awesome because it wasn't just the young teachers, it was my teachers that I look up to for guidance from the experience that they have. I have a lot of those teachers, and they're the ones that are driving this. I think about my teachers that at my elementary level, we're not to one-to-one yet in our elementary level. We will be at CC next year, but the ones that are driving it are my most veteran teachers, and that's exciting. Because they're the ones that are in the driver's seat, and that makes life really good when we're doing that. So I think we all agree, though, our biggest takeaway from the conference is just the conference itself and the connections that we're making when we're here, networking. And
everybody that's out there right now.
Yeah, I wish I could turn the computer, but I'm afraid we might not line back up again as we do this. But yeah, I think the networking and the connections that we're making are huge. So
I think it's, and what's just funny to me is that I mean, I got to know you more, and you're in Indiana, and then we got to meet a couple other guys from Indiana.
Oh yeah.
All the way to Atlanta, and we're learning learned a lot from them over these last couple days, and I think that's even actually more important than the sessions. Is that networking, especially those people that are doing the same things, that they're part of the one-to-one initiative like we are, and they have the same type of kind of clientele, or have the same type of same amount of kids, that sort of thing. So yeah,
it's exciting. I mean, to meet people that I have followed and connected and chatted with through Twitter. I'll say everyone looks taller on Twitter.
Yeah, everybody's taller on Twitter.
Everyone is taller on Twitter.
Except for Drew.
Except for Drew.
Yeah.
Sorry, Drew. Sorry, pal. But no, just connecting with those people and being like, hey, oh yeah, you're so and so, and just being able to have a face-to-face conversation we're in this mobile world now. Often, sometimes that's lost, and to be able to face-to-face conversation and, like Kevin said, share some of the same excitement, concerns, questions, and you understand, or you realize that a lot of us here, there's over 10,000 people here. A lot of us are in the same boat. And it's a fun boat to be in right now. So.
And I couldn't have had a better experience without Matt, because Matt knows everybody on Twitter. So now I'm walking by and like, hey, you know who this guy is? This guy just created this or created that. And so I know more people just by him, or I just walked right by him and not know who they were.
A little starstruck at times. I'll admit. It's like, oh, it's so-and-so.
So, we'll talk about this last session real quick, because I think we've all talked longer than we thought we were going to talk when we did it, but it's great that we get to share this with you. Last night was exciting because I got to play with Sphero a little bit last night, and getting to watch you guys take that out and let kids play with that last night, that was one of the coolest things that I've ever, every kid they fell in love with Sphero, and to think about how much they love it just as a toy, and how much, when you get into the educational curriculum that they have for it, how exciting that is. If you could get that in all of your classrooms, would be phenomenal.
It gave me chills. Just gave me chills last night to see. A great shot right there. These kids were just amazed by something as simple as a ball, but could really do some powerful things in the classroom. But we were just having fun with it last night, and we're excited. Sphero, keep it up.
I think it shows that learning can happen anywhere, not just in the classroom. And sometimes it's hard to get an authentic message across in the classroom. Sometimes it has to be outside of there, whether it's in the hallway or outside of the on the playground, or at Centennial Park. And so kids were learning. Kids are learning everywhere all the time. And so that was neat to see.
So guys, again, I'm Joe Willman. If you want to get a hold of me, I'm at JT Willman on Twitter. Matt?
I am at Bronco_AP. That's BRONCH. Bronco with an H, because we have heart. BRONCH. BRONCHO_AP.
And I'm at Sunny_principal. And I just want to also let you know that these two guys had backpacks, so I got to. I felt a little.
Kevin is now a member of Team Backpack. That's an actual hashtag as well. Hashtag Team Backpack. If you're a backpack person, let us know. Also, hashtag double strap if you use both of them.
And it does show you that CC and LSC can get along. So
I think we can. I've loved working with you guys. Hey,
likewise.
The last thing, real quick plug: K-12 Tech. It's a local meetup group in Lafayette. We hope to get you out. We meet once a month. It's typically the second or third Thursday in the month, but we always send it out on the meetup site. You can find it at meetup.com/K12Tech, or follow us on Twitter at K12TechLala. Just as everything else in Greater Lafayette is K12TechLala on Twitter. Give us a follow, and we'll send out all of our meetings, and a lot of great stuff going on there. So thanks for watching the video. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.